Okay, so this one is graph the transformation of the square root function f of x equals 5 minus the square root of -1 minus x. Give the coordinates of at least 3 points labeled on your graph. So what you're going to want to do first is set the radicand as greater than or equal to 0. So we're going to do -1 minus x to 0. So basically just solve for x. So what you'll do is you'll add 1 to each side. Equal to 1. All right, and then we're going to divide each side by -1. And that just gives us x divided by 1 divided by -1, which is basically just x -1. Okay, next you're going to want to replace the variable x with -1. So it's going to be f of -1 equals 5 minus the square root -1 minus -1. So now we just go ahead and simplify, which this is just +1. So that will be f of -1 equals 5 minus the square root of 0. We'll rewrite that as 0 squared. So then that's just going to be f of -1 equals 5 minus 0. And then we are going to multiply -1 by 0, which gives us f of -1 equals 5. So now we have 1 point, which is -1, comma 5. Okay, now we're going to substitute the x for -3. So it's going to be f of -3 equals 5 minus the square root -1 minus -3, or -1 plus 3. So, and then that's going to be f of -3 equals 5 minus the square root of 2. And that is the final answer, 5 square root -2. Okay, and then the next step is to substitute x with -2 instead. So I'm just gonna erase this and do it as -2 or +2. And that, let's see here, let me go ahead and erase this. Okay, so then it's 5 minus, let's see, I already have it, 5 minus square root of -1 plus 2, which gives us 5 minus the square root of 1, and any root of 1 is just 1, so that gives us f of -2 equals 5 minus 1, and that is our answer. It's 5 minus 1, which is y equals 4. Okay, so now that we have our points, we have -1, 5, we have -3, 3.59, we have -2 and 4. So we'll go ahead and put that here, -3, -2, -1, 3.59, 4, and 5. So we'll go ahead, we'll graph that. So -3, 3 points somewhere right there. -2, -4, -1, 5. So that is our graph.